Oh, yeah, I haven't quite gotten to breakfast yet either. I had coffee and I accidentally made hot cider and thought it was coffee, and then I was disappointed because it was definitely not coffee. But good morning. How are you? I hope everybody is well. Yesterday we were actually over on Lynn's channel, and just to sort of recap, we got cute animals, and you can't see what I'm doing because I didn't switch my camera because it's that hour of the morning, I guess. So we got this cute animal stamp set. I think you guys both caught the stream, but this is by Made to Surprise. I guess she has a lot of cute animals. Lynn did a very adorable card with the lion, so if you didn't catch it, it's worth looking at. I still haven't photographed my cards yet, but I did a card with the what I assumed was a flamingo, but I guess could be whatever bird you want it to be. And the coffee stamp set I've been playing with quite a bit. And then on the inside of this guy, just use a little word die that says got coffee. You can't really tell, but I've been playing with this new blending solution. Do I have a card that shows it off? I really should, but I can't find it. Anyway, I've been playing with this new blending solution and was playing around with that on the pink, and it worked okay. It worked more successfully in blue card that's somewhere on my Instagram for sure, but I don't see it on my desk at the current moment because I made the mistake of cleaning up. Or the cat walked on it and it's somewhere. Anyway, I also made this gator card. He's quite cute. This paper is not from the calendar. It's MFT freebie I got, since they give you free paper when you spend too much money. So that was day 16. We had a nice chat on stream too yesterday about like how we feel about the advent calendar. I'm still a big fan. Lynn was more in the vein of, well, if you look at the advent calendar as a whole, probably 30 to 40% of the stuff is um reusable, right? They're dies and stamps and stencils. Probably about 60% are consumable. So from that standpoint, there's a lot of like the if you like things that aren't consumables, I think Cordelia's advent calendar is probably a better option for you, which is the Spellbinders one, which I really want to get next year. Maybe I'll get my stuff together. It always sells out super quick. Let me see who else. Oh, Shanna is here. Good morning, Shanna. Happy Sunday to you. Hopefully, you have also had coffee. Yeah, I really like these animals. I think they're really, I guess I get birthday vibes from this guy. I mean, I use sort of a thank you sentiment because I was playing around with this stamp set I've had forever and it's very well loved. This is Plants and Cats or something like that from Catherine Pooler. Now I'm gonna have to look it up because I've like not known what the actual stamp set is for like 3 streams now. Catherine Pooler, stamps and cats. I'll see if I can find it quickly because but I'm not seeing it. She's also got one that I can't find that I bought that's very cute. They're cute pets doing naughty Christmas things, like cats getting into the trees and dogs opening presents and whatnot. Well, let me just try on her website quick and say cats. How many cat stamp sets could one per? Oh, there she has a Halloween one I don't own. Oh, that is cute. Here we go. So the actual title of that stamp set is Just Roll With It. And it has 5 cats all being enamored by plants, and then 4 sentiments, I guess. There's also like a little leaf you can use if I haven't lost it. Yeah, so there's like this leaf and that leaf. There are a couple leaves. This one's my favorite, obviously, because it's real. These two I've used a lot, and they're very well stained. And then this is my one of my favorite sentiments. It's Que Sera Sera, which to me is a very like feline. Like, yeah, I knocked over all your stuff, but whatever. It's all good. Anyway, Now that we've had our obligatory cat break, we shall see what we got for day 17. It feels stencily to me, but we'll see. I have been wrong before. Yeah, I think the turtle to me was a standout, both because it's a birthday thing and because it's really cute. What else? The mushrooms seemed like they'd be very usable, especially in the world of like Spellbinders has a really good 3D mushroom thing. I also have the never ever used, oops, envelope of wonder that comes with a lot of fall dice too. Hi Lala. I forget if you're streaming, if you just streamed or if you're streaming it in what I would call the evening, but you're stream I don't know if you guys caught her stream yesterday. It was really interesting. She had a animal communications person on and they did some meditation and my camera is very crooked and worked on journaling. I've become now that this calendar, I guess one of the designers in this calendar is very into planning and journaling, and I am not. So, um, I don't know. I think it'll be interesting, but I've enjoyed their videos because there's a lot more. Um, they're more crafty elements pulled into planning than I think of. Like normally I think of planning as more a utilitarian thing, right? Like I'm going to plan my week because and I've always never gotten past the well, I can do that in Outlook or Google Calendar. Like why would I need it to be in a project angle of it all? But I don't have planner stickers, but I have stickers from my friend who runs a planner company. Let me see. Oh, excuse me. I'm pretty sure somebody's in Pacific time. We are all very time zone dispersed. T is in Eastern. I don't know. T's in Central. I'm in Central. Cordelia's in Eastern. Lala's in Manila Standard Time. I don't know. They always call it like PST, but then say it's like Philippines PST every time I look at it on Google. But anyway. Something in one stream in January we definitely need to figure out planning. Oh, oh, this is neat. This is a stencil with little dots on it. It's pretty cool. Let's cut a card panel and let's put some ink on this. And I think we could do this. We could definitely use for a Christmas card. I mean, we could use this for any kind of card, really. Do I have white cardstock at hand? Oh, I might. Here we go. This is normal white cardstock. Now, I tend to cut these into panels so that it's easier to line up, but you can also just stencil and then cut it when you're done, obviously. It kind of depends on you, but I always feel like I tend to make A2. So, you know, I think it's actually cream, but it'll be fine. And here you can see how the actual A6 size is a little bigger than this panel, which is a little bigger than in standard A2. Just gonna grab some tape. And it's really up to you if you like taping the stencils or not. I tend to just because I think it makes it easier. But what color? Well, why don't we try out a teal? I had a blending brush here. I mostly cleaned off. Here we are. See how this goes. It's weird how dark this looks on the ink pad. I wonder how this will. Ooh, I like it. I feel like I've used this ink before and liked it. Um, but it's sort of a darker teal. And I do like that their stencils they're fairly beefy, and I am hoping this blending brush will be able to get into all the nooks and crannies. I think it will, but I'm probably using more ink than I normally would just because I want to. There are a lot of little bits and pieces, like these little holes over here. I want to make sure I get, and I'll do the same thing on the other side. But to me, the nice thing about a stencil is it really can make your background happen really quickly because it's sort of like boom, you're done. I don't think I've tried pixie spray, but I know some people are really big fans of using that too. But I think we've got pretty good coverage here. Let's see what we got. Missed a couple pieces, so I think we can go back down and try and hit them. Like right in here, there are a couple. You can basically go back in and hopefully not shift the stencil. I think that's pretty good. Although I know some people also like pixie spray or sticky mats. I have not used either, but guess we can look at the reveal. And we have just missed that one dot there. I think that's because the packaging material had sort of blocked it. There we go. Um, there's sort of a coating sometimes on stencils when they're manufactured on one side. And what can happen is that can get into sort of some of these nooks and crannies. But I think now we are good. Yeah, that looks nice. We'll just let that dry. I will clean off my stencil a little bit. We are. So I think this one's another winner in terms of things I would probably use because it's pretty geometric, so it could be almost anything. You just get my 12 binders tape off. I think we can do. I think this would look nice with the day two florals, actually, especially the stemmy ones. If we have any stemmy ones left, we have a lot left. Spoiler. Let me see. Oh, the pixie spray. I've heard that it leaves things pretty gummy. But that's sort of the downside, and the upside is that it can make it um, can make things easier to deal with. Well done. I like the blue. I like party time. Let's do that. We could have it be like a New Year's thing because this kind of reminds me of a firework. We just need to figure out which of the 400 million florals. I do like this one. Maybe that one's a little subtle. I feel like we need something a little that might come out of the background a little bit. Maybe like that. Yeah, I like the more vibrant colors, I think. Love you. I wish they had used the darker font on some of these. Way to go. That's a neat one too. I like the way to go sentiment. It does just doesn't seem to like fit anything I'm doing at the moment. Maybe kind of like tucking these behind. Do, do, do. Oop. Oh, this one might be good because it's bigger. It's kind of cute. Let's see what other things we have. Have another. This is sort of a similar one to. We can move this out of the way for now. To this one, could sort of. Yeah, I don't really quite like that as a leaf as much. Let's leave it out. Do something like this. And you can sort of layer those pieces a little bit. Oops, that one got kind of mangled. Mm, about layering. Oh, that I kind of like. Yeah, kind of like a spray on the bottom, and then imagine that's even, but then sort of something over it. I kind of like that. I feel like we've sort of done this as an idea before, but it's one that comes to mind. Obviously, we could do this sort of with the animals as well. Um, and given the tone here, if we had done this, would have been neat to also do like if we used a pigment ink with the stencil and done it on top of a darker color, that probably would have made things pop. Oh, here's some things that ran off to the side. What are you? Oh, you're more of these yellow flowers. But I don't know. I feel like this particular, like the ephemera and some of the stencils and dyes in this kit really lend towards springy kind of vibes, which can be nice. We still didn't get perfect coverage on the stencil. I think it would be interesting to see. I feel like this would fare really, because this is a fairly thick stencil. I feel like this would fare very nicely with uh, a paste as well. So we may have to try that at a later date. So let's glue this down and then figure out. We could matte this on a darker color, like we could matte it on navy or something. Oh, you guys are chit chattering. Let me see. You are anti pixie. Oh, with the pixie? Yeah, that's what I've heard. That it's sort of like if you don't like it. What color is Royal Flush? Red or yellow? I don't think I know Royal Flush. Yeah. Well, let's glue the card together And then maybe let's try a lunar paste. It's pretty orange with blue. Okay. Well, it's nice to see you. We will see you again. Let's get this card together and let's cut another panel and play with some lunar paste. We have a yellow. Like I think this gold with blue would look interesting. Let me see if I can find some navy once we get these little pieces together. It's always easier once they stop moving once you glue them down, but see, and I wanted this flower down first too. I'm curious, T, do you have like every lunar paste? I have maybe 20. I probably have about 20 of them, but I don't think I have every one. Because I think there's what's the one I really want? I really want Tropical Tango, and I always forget that I don't have it. Maybe I don't mean Tropical Tango. There's like this really cool it's like a bluish green kind of color. That. And we can look at all the lunar pastes too. Well, at least the ones I have. I've been really intrigued to try solar paste too ever since I got a card that had it on it and it really looked neat. Originally, I guess to me solar paste looks more impressive in real life than it does on the internet. Like I think it's hard to get the iridescence that it has sort of in pictures. I'm just gonna float the bottom of this because I kind of like the look. Except let's not glue it. Let's glue it in the middle. That would probably be better. Probably would not be great to just sort of glue it off to the side. And I don't know. Let's look for a yellow card base. Here we go. Sort of pull out the yellow as opposed to pulling up out the pink because we've made a lot of pink cards. Not that there's anything wrong with a pink card. I know my friends Danny and Delise love them. So if I ever am like, gee, I have too many pink cards, I definitely don't know what to do with all these pink cards. I'm sure I could send them to them and they would be quite pleased to get a pink card. Oops. Card base is down. Oh well, they were rescued. But let's see what kind of lunar paste we have, because I know I have a squeegee here, so we're almost all the way there. We have a lot of unused glitz too, for some reason. Okay, let's move this. So on my desk, I have these colors: gold, some kind of orange, and blue. I do like the idea of the orange with navy, so maybe we'll do that. Let's see what we have in here. We have some kind of pink and some kind of green. The green actually is possible. Like that would be a nice Christmassy green. if we're still a nice dark navy. I do like the idea of this orange with navy, though. I don't know what orange that is. We have a red in a more. This is more of a pumpkin orange. I kind of like the. And then another orange and a purple. Purple might be. Pull the purple too. These three colors might all be possibles. And then we have like a true yellow and a red and whatever color you are. It's almost like a gold. It's like a brownie gold. This might be one of the newer colors. Except I think they're all on my desk still. Anyway, this yellow looks plausible too. And then, oh, this is a nice blue green. And just another blue. Uh, I'm thinking these colors are all pretty much in line with what we've gotten in the Advent so far. So let's see what kind of color base I can find. Color base, card base I can find. I think we were talking navy. I see some navy right in front of me, so navy it shall be. I think with the navy, we definitely are really going like probably yellow, maybe orange. I think he suggested orange, so let's do orange. Maybe we'll do one of each. We'll see. We shall see. I mean, it's not like we don't have enough paper to do one of each. As we digress slightly, 4 inches. I feel like I cut this short. No, that is 4 inches. Huh. Let's grab our tape that's still sticky. That's good news. Yeah, one side of this is definitely not even, but that's okay. We can work with it. Yeah, this is hard to tell, but this bottom edge is a little wacky, but we could always cut this square too. And here's a squeegee. And wow, I don't think I've ever had this open. So that's fun. What are we missing? Oh, do I have Tropical Tango? I think this is Tropical Tango. I can never read the names on these because they're like, yeah, this is Tropical Tango. Like, not to be bitchy so early in the day, but like, would it be that hard to like put a number or something on the bottom so it was easier to tell? I know ECR has this really cool thing that she's done where she's actually like put a swatch of the lunar paste on the lid so you can just tell. What am I thinking? I think I can just, since this is so new, I think I can just grab a little here. This is probably way too much, FYI, but we'll see. Basically, if there is leftover paste, that is probably okay. For better or worse, this is a fairly thick stencil, so this is likely to not dry on camera, but there we go. It's always a little embarrassing because my dad isn't actually a very good pellet knife painter. I don't know. There's probably a name for that he knows that I don't. But what I'm gonna try and do is see if I can't get really good coverage on this. I might actually grab a little more product because I feel like it's a little dry on the sides. Um, and the only downside of using lunar paste thick like this is that well, A, you use more product, but if that's not a concern for you, I find it doesn't shimmer as much. I'm just sort of trying to reclaim any extra I can because I don't like wasting product. I think that's about as good as we're going to get. Let's check this out. Ooh. Yeah, so in two areas, it looks like I just went absolutely ham. Um, yeah, like where I initially put lunar paste, that looks way too thick, but everything else looks okay. So I am going to save this one, and we can probably do something with it. Um, you can, of course, always cheat and just put something over the areas that are a little too pasty. Um, and I don't know, let me just grab this and I'll clean off on here. And while the lunar paste is still not set, um, I guess I should say it is an acrylic product, so it will kind of set at some point. But what I will do is, well, if I can find it, I had a spritzer of water somewhere, somewhere. Huh. I had one right here, right ready to go for this exact situation. Ah. Oh, here it is. But as long as it's semi-wet, you can usually get it off. This is also getting my thingy semi-wet, which is a little unideal, but that looks pretty good. Also, like if you're, um, I'm going to use this again, obviously, but if you're putting this away for good, usually what I'll do is like bring it over to the sink and really wash the stencils out, especially if they have fine detail. And this one kind of does with the little dots on the side, but let's try this again and see if we can be a little more uh we probably just need to stick the stencil down better. So I think that was what caused the issues. The one nice thing about these silicone squeegees is like getting this kind of acrylic stuff off them is really easy. But I only taped down one side, so I think what happened is the stencil lifted up a bit. So let's try to that's not there. Well, let's grab another blue. And I mean, if you wind up with it just being a little jacked up, that's okay too. Um, because if you stuck ephemera over these two, whoops, this is still really wet, but if you stuck ephemera over these pieces that aren't quite together and over this little smudgy, no one's gonna know that you had an oopsie. So the other thing you can do obviously is cut these things down. You can cut a stencil down a bit. So let us center our panel and retape it. I think I lost my tape, but that's okay. See if we can't pull a better second attempt. We can figure out where my tape starts. Ah, here we go. This explains why people keep their tape on like actual tape thingies as opposed to like what I just did. Let's make sure we're more or less centered and level. time, let's tape both edges. See if we can't avoid potentially. Uh, Basically, what happens is if the stencil lifts up, more product can get under it, and that's sort of what we saw happening. So just going to tape on both edges, and I think that will give us, yeah, and you can see there's still these little holes of something. Yeah, let me see if I grab a pokey tool here quick. Yeah, there's still a few holes that I think weren't fully. Yeah, there we go. Okay, that fixed it. There were a couple of holes that weren't fully punched through. That can kind of happen with new stencils too. But once it's fixed, it is fixed. And I think the other color is really interesting. Like you can really see the navy coming through on camera, which you really can't see in real life. But let's break into the yellow. It's probably not called yellow. It is called, I don't know, something in white I can't read. Maybe I can read it on camera, ironically. Shooting star. Okay. Somebody even referenced this color, and I said I had no idea what it looked like and didn't know it existed. So, I mean, that was probably a lie, considering I had it here. But let's see if I can't not press as much and just sort of be a little more gingerly about this and hopefully not mess it up as much. I don't know. I mean, as others have said, like these are handmade products at the end of the day. So I mean, I don't think people are going to be super like upset if your stencil work isn't perfect. No, I'm just like leaving a blob on the edge of the stencil so I can more easily like pull it down, but without hopefully lifting up the stencil too much. And I just tend to go at these things from all angles, and then if something looks a little not fully covered, like the side here is a little wonky. But I think we have coverage on the stencil. So let us peel aside. And I'm sorry, I haven't been paying attention to the chat as much today. We've been playing around. Just curious if this worked out better. Yeah, and we got sort of a similar partial, although I kind of like this one. This one kind of looks like a globe. It looks like this would be really cool. We didn't get any over smushing, which I like. I feel like to do this really well, you would want to have a consistent amount of product at the top and then like pull it down, kind of more like screening a t-shirt. That or a lot of you'd really want to tape this so you wouldn't get oopsies. But I don't know, I actually really like this one. So I will pull this guy off. And we have two more panels that we can play with probably later in the series. Well, I think you're right, Cordelia. I mean, I don't know that like I'm sure I've told you this story a million times, and it's um I want to say anybody who actually sells their cards. I know that Mary when she was teaching craft roulette fame had the same thing happen. Maybe she wasn't teaching. I think she had it up in a store she was running at the time, but basically there was a card she really didn't like, and then one day someone showed up and they were like, "Oh my god, that's the best thing ever." And they wanted to buy all the materials to replicate the card exactly, and it was a card that she had looked at and like really thought about throwing away a few times. So, you know, but the second one I think is actually I actually kind of like this as a I like this as like a map element, I guess. I'll just let that dry. I think I got enough. The lunar paste, if as long as you get it up while it's wet, is pretty fine to deal with. But probably should get the tape off while this is still. Yeah, I took a little bit of the back of the cardstock off too. So, whoops. It's better to let your paper dry before trying to remove tape. But I like this as like a globe element, I guess. Like I feel like if you had like a travel something in front of this, it would look really cool. It would look like you were in front of a big map. The first one we did, which is not dry yet. Oops. Um, there are these areas where the stencil lifted up. So I think basically those we would just put something over. But I think if you put something over those, I'm not going to do it since this is still pretty wet. Um, I think the rest of this you could do something neat with. They're little oopsies, but the little oopsies you could bling cover pretty easily. Because really, isn't that the point of enamel dots? Well, one of them. But thank you guys. You got me to remember some colors of lunar paste I didn't realize I had bought. And just to play with paste is always a good thing. I always tend to, I think I sometimes gravitate towards ink just because it seems less messy, but sometimes using these messy products is fun too. And I was going to tell you about something. Um, there's something coming up. What is it? Oh, I'm over on Dawn's channel playing Crafty Yahtzee this week. So here's hoping. And if I'm a smart boy, I'll actually like gesso some surface so that I'm ready in case we get our acrylic paint, or I'll forget and then we'll hope we don't do that. But anyway, it was great seeing you guys. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Here's the first card we made. So here you can kind of see the difference. Um, with the paste, it definitely looks way more 3D. Now the paste will dry a little bit flatter than it is at the current moment, but um, it depends. The ink definitely looks like it is a flat layer, and the paste is not. So use either way that you prefer. I think that's kind of the interesting thing about these more 3D stencils. Well, not really 3D, but like thicker stencils. I think like allow you to do that, where you can have more dimension without really doing anything. It's a nice way. It's a nice way to like pull in some more dimension into your products. But anyway, it's great talking to you guys. I will be back at 6. I have no idea what we're doing, although I have some thoughts. You can help me brainstorm a project, maybe. Or we might just do something totally different. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. I've started thinking about some options for my advent calendar for next year's advent calendar, or I should say, more options for making an advent calendar because I'm certain to buy one next year, but probably spellbinders, maybe not. 14, 15. Yeah, so we're officially here out of this bunch of a box. So I mean, we're in our final stretches. Although I don't know. I still can't quite wrap my head around the fact that Christmas is in like a week, but that's okay. That happens every year. It's a side effect of being an adult, I think, because you're like go 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 and then it's like, "Oh wow, tomorrow's Christmas. I better wrap something." But anyway, great talking to you guys. Hope you have a fantastic rest of your Sunday, and I will talk with you guys later.